My name is Jason Fleming and I'm an actor and a very proud patron of the Head in the Game charity. Thank you for coming to cinema. Hope you enjoy your free popcorn. And this little film is a reflection of the last 2.5 years of work by the charity, very generously funded by the National Lottery Community Fund. I hope you enjoy it and I'll see you at the end.
When I was 22, I attempted suicide myself. The important thing for me was that I don't want anyone to go through what I've been through. And I don't want people, that shouldn't be an option for people. It shouldn't be a considered option, and it happens way too much.
Our flagship programme, it's 12 weeks and we call it Football for Thought. It's the project that we're probably best known for, and thanks to the National Lottery Community Fund, we've been able to deliver it for the last 2.5 years. One of the things that's really important to us at Head in the Game is to ensure that we deliver local services for local people in local communities. We've now worked in many other communities in Kent and the South East, places such as Maidstone, Folkestone, Canterbury, Whitstable, Tunbridge, Dover, lots and lots of areas that have needed a service like Head in the Game. Furthermore, we've worked with Charlton Athletic with their community trust. We've also worked with Brentford, and we're working with West Ham United. And it's been an absolute pleasure to work with so many different people from different communities. So one of the strengths of our service is that we use football as a way of enticing people to come along to the sessions. Once they come to the sessions, they quite quickly realise that there is a lot more to it than kicking a ball around for an hour. Once we have the participants and they're fully engaged, we then have the opportunity to work on their mental well-being, their confidence, but most importantly for them to have the opportunity to talk and learn more about their mental health and actually why they sometimes feel the way that they do.
We did this session, I think it was about 3 weeks ago. Piece of paper, circle in the middle and then an outer circle. You put 3 things about yourself that are positive, and then it goes around the whole group and they put 1 or 2 things about you that they find positive. And for me, the most shocking one was on there twice was saying, I'm a leader. With people saying it, I actually sat back and thought, I am actually good at this. Little things sometimes, it's just one word, can just be a big perk to you without even realising it.
With the main focus being around mental fitness, and now when we say mental fitness, it's because we have 2 healths, physical health and mental health. If we talk about our physical health, we talk about, getting stronger, running, all these positive things. If we talk about our mental health, we talk about anxiety, depression, very negative words. So we start out by, explaining to people about mental fitness and how they can use the sessions with us as like their mental gym. The main thing it gives our participants is probably hope. When people access our services, they are low. They're generally low. They might not know what the problem is, but they're low. And so we work on those small changes and those marginal gains, so people have a baseline to change where they were or know where they were, and at the end of the 12 weeks, know they're an improved version of themselves.
It's helped me being around other people, speaking openly, and being around a good bunch of guys. And it's just improved my mental health a lot, really.
The coaches are excellent. We're in a WhatsApp group chat and everyone is communicating in there, and people are helping people if they're feeling a bit down during the week, and just things that you don't realise that men need to do?
I've had an eventful year, so a lot of ups and downs. I'm feeling a lot better now since I started the programme, and each week I've got something to look forward to. And yeah, it's improved my fitness, my mental well-being, and yeah, I'd recommend it to anyone really.
I think the check-ins are a really important part of the sessions. It's a really nice opener for how is everyone's day, and it can again make you think a little bit more about how your day's been. I think often you can go through a day kind of, if it's a normal day, you don't think too much maybe about how it's gone, especially the positive things. You kind of sweep them under the carpet and you just take them, and you might smile at the time, but you won't really reflect on them. And it gives a really nice chance for everyone to share what's been good in their week, as well as what they've been struggling with.
So one of the key things about running a preventative service like Head in the Game is that we get to work with somebody before they reach crisis point. Now that's been proven to be something that's so important in terms of suicide prevention. Using football and talking as a way of achieving that is something that we found really powerful over the last 3 years.
The way our system works is you have to be at crisis point before you're seen. There needs to be the problem. There's no support around that for people before they get to that crisis, and that's what we kind of fill the gap for.
When we first did the sessions, I was a participant. It was, I said at the time, it was a lifesaver for me. It gave me a focus. It gave me something that really brought me back into getting fitter, getting mentally stronger. And then when I was given the opportunity to help out as a volunteer coach, I just felt I wanted to give something back. I wanted to provide the support that I'd received to the other guys that obviously needed it because of the amount of people that were signing up, looking out for the sessions. It was clearly a much needed service, and it feels nice to actually be in a position now where I can do what Mark and the guys did for me back in the day. It's gone full circle, and I'm really enjoying it, and I hope it continues for a long time.
Before Head in the Game, I maybe didn't acknowledge where my feelings were coming from, and I think the questions that we've had in the group conversations, they've really helped me to acknowledge where my feelings are coming from, and I think that's helped me to address them better as well.
I guess how I felt before joining the programme was a bit like a wave, in that I had ups and I had downs. And when I was up, I felt on top of the world, and when I was down, it was I was not fun to be around, for either family or friends. I feel with Head in the Game, I've become, I won't say a straight line because that implies that I'm not changing, but more of an upward trajectory most of the time. I'm not going to lie, there are points where it will go down again, but I feel like it's given me renewed confidence to go about both work and personal life.
To have a supportive group there that is happy to listen is really good too.
I started with Head in the Game just after the pandemic. I had a football injury, I'd stopped playing. I was in not the best of mental fitness at the time. The tools that it gave me were so beneficial, and I could actually feel myself getting better, or my mental fitness improving with every session that I was going to.
I loved Head in the Game just because it was like-minded men, other vulnerable men who were willing to open up about that, and really supportive coaches who would put their arm around you.
It's something I share with my family, to try and talk openly with them, not just my wife but also my kids, to make it clear that if you have problems with your mental health, it's not something you should be ashamed of.
Once the sessions are finished, some of the guys will form a five-a-side football team, Some of them want to continue the sessions, so they'll carry them on, and they form part of our legacy projects.
Our legacy projects are run by former participants. I feel they're important because of the lads only get 12 weeks, and the 12 weeks for the lads is great because we see them come a long, long way. But then for that 12 weeks to then end, for some of them it's back to square one almost. So to keep the legacy projects going is important for their mental health as well as their physical health.
After the sessions ended at Head in the Game, a lot of us wanted to continue meeting and having that space to talk together and to play football. So there was a big push to begin Project Talking Football. And I felt that was the right time for me actually to step forward and offer my services as a coach and with a mental health background as well. I thought it would probably be wise if I could offer some of my insights and take something that I'd got so much out from and try and give something back. So we've carried on Project Talking Football and we've really got great numbers, and some of those who I did Head in the Game with are still with us, and that's wonderful. And we've had so many more come in as well since that are still benefiting from that legacy left by Head in the Game.
Our aims here at Brentford FC Community Sports Trust are to support people to look after their physical, their mental and their social health. And the Head in the Game programme, when we first heard about it from Mark, it did exactly all three of those things. We're really passionate here about working collaboratively with people who are already doing really good work in this space, looking for kind of synergies, seeing how we can work together rather than overlapping and reinventing the wheel. So yeah, it just seemed like a no-brainer to kind of work with Mark and Matt moving forwards to see what we could do with the Head in the Game programme more locally, and that's where the Football for Thought programme came about.
There's two things that are probably really important or really relevant in the alignment between the work that we do and the work that Head in the Game do. Firstly, I think it's combining physical with mental health. They're not exclusive, and actually through being more physically active and having improved physical health, mental health improves, something that's really central to a lot of our programmes and kind of our way of working. And secondly, I think a key alignment is our ambition to deliver interventions and soft interventions around mental health, but through a community setting. So it not feeling clinical, it not feeling like it's a health provision, but it feels like it's a community intervention that is kind of supporting you through something led by somebody who's like you with similar experience. So I think they're probably the two big alignments, is that kind of community feel as well as the kind of the combining of physical health and mental health. So we had great support from our players when we launched our project back in May. We did a feature and match of the day, and two of our first team players came along to that. And I think what's worked really well is people just really understanding and seeing how much sense it makes as a project. We don't have to convince anybody that it's a good idea. It makes perfect sense to bring people together who don't perhaps normally talk about their mental health in a setting that enables them to do so without it feeling like therapy. So I think that's probably what's worked really well.
Mindstones is a Head in the Game legacy project. We run football sessions where we invite men to come along and we talk about our mental health, and we play some football in order to build up our mental and physical fitness. For the community within Maidstone, it's had a large impact on providing a service that was much needed for men to be able to come together, talk about their mental health, but also with the shared enjoyment of kicking the ball around and getting a bit physical fit as well as mentally fit. The sessions have really taken off. We've got a lot of people signing up for the sessions now. The whole emphasis on talking about mental health has enabled our participants to really open up and share ideas and talk to each other and give each other advice and guidance through their own lived experiences, which it's been a massive change for a lot of people.
I think it was more about delivering something for the benefit of the community. We don't have any employees as Stones Community Trust. We rely on grants and corporate funding to do everything we do around town, and it's all about the community. Maidstone United are obviously the draw, but actually all of the programmes in the community are done by us, the Stones Community Trust. And I know Mark and his fellow directors wanted to ensure that the community of Maidstone still had this opportunity. It's the continuation, it's the pathway, or the guys don't leave. They can carry on playing. And we want it to grow and develop into something that's renowned in Maidstone as being one of the best mental health programmes in the area.
We've had a lot of really good feedback, both individually, where people have messaged the coaches direct to thank them for the time they put in. Every week you get to the end of the session and the guys really looking forward to the following week, and they're actually saying, can't wait till next Thursday, wish we could do it sooner, and that kind of thing. So it's been really, there's a lot of really good news about it.
The impact has been on the local community has been working with the likes of Colin, and the fact it's given some help to some people who are really struggling. It was a great project to start with, and we just wanted to develop it and grow it into something that would be there forever and a day.
We'll be looking at expanding what we offer, looking at potentially a second night once a week, and also hopefully following in what Head in the Game have done with the women's side of it, get a session running for the ladies teams here at Maidstone.
I kind of stumbled across Head in the Game on Facebook, and I thought I'd just give them a message, say, look, I'm really interested in working in the community, I love football and I love mental health. It's something I really think this should be combined. I really like the project that you're doing, can I take part? So they gave me a message back and we met up, and actually it just kind of went from there. So we said, well, why not set up a women's section? So we looked at the programme, we looked at the 12 weeks, and we said, right, there's definitely something we can put together for women's, and it has to be structured quite differently, but it's something that we could definitely put something in place.
Head in the Game collaboration with Margate is something that I really pushed for. I know a couple of the people from the charity work previously, and when it was sort of probed to me maybe that they'd like to start a project with the women's game, I was just excited. I think it's really important and something we often overlook. It's very easy to focus on the men's game. It's always in the limelight, especially at a lower level. We're getting there in the higher levels of football and the promotion of the women's side. I don't think we necessarily always have that at a local level. So it's a really exciting opportunity and something I really wanted to push for. I think it's something that the team, the club and football as a whole will benefit from. And I'd like to see, in 6 months' time, the benefits not just on the team as a whole, but individuals as well. And hopefully we've helped sort of promote that locally and nationally as well, how important mental health is, and just be that forefront for promoting it and moving forward. I think the mental health in men and women is so different. We see it, more recently with things like ADHD and those diagnoses. Things are very different with women. We have to juggle menstrual cycles and things like that the men don't. And vice versa, there's stigmas with construction and with men's mental health that maybe aren't present in the women's mental health side of things. And I think it's really important that we promote and boost it in the right way, and it'd be good to see how Head in the Game adapt that programme to be able to facilitate what is a very different world in women's sport as opposed to the men's sport.
For me, I think success in the programme. I just want to see lots of women come along and take part in it. I think for me that's the biggest thing, is not only looking after women's mental health, it's also getting women involved in football. And also, I think we should spread out. I think this shouldn't just be in one corner of the UK. I think we should just be looking the same with the men, seeing how far we can take this. I'd love someone to come along that has experienced the programme and then will go out and do exactly like the men's programme, go out and then work with other people in other communities.
So I've now moved on from being a participant to volunteering, and what made me really want to carry that on was shortly after I had started as a participant, we lost one of our teammates in the amateur football team to suicide, and it really made me just look at everything so differently.
We kind of knew he went missing. It was a bit like, it wasn't normal for him to kind of cut contacts with everyone. Yeah. So for a few hours now I could get hold of him. I was at the gym and then I got a text from my brother saying, "You need to come home." I answered the door and I see my brother. He was there, then behind him was my dad's brother. My brother had tears in his eyes and I see 2 police officers get out of the car behind him. And I dropped to the floor because I knew it was something bad. Well, I didn't even get told it, I just kind of knew, you know. But when you see police behind him, my brother and my uncle, like, never really cry. When you see them crying, it's like, you knew it was bad.
Yeah. I can't help but feel, myself personally, every time, I always think about it all the time, about if I had been doing the Head in the Game sessions earlier, then obviously with Max being part of the football team and with everything that I've been sharing about what Head in the Game do and the things we've been learning about Head in the Game, I feel like, oh, you know, would he still be here? But do you ever think about that?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because I think it would have, like everyone else, I think it's only would have affected him in a positive way and helped him, like as everyone else. Speaking to someone doesn't hurt, it helps, it's like a weight off your shoulders. So my dad always told me it's like taking your boots off after a long day at work or something like that. It's just that release. I think it only has a positive effect on you, so it's definitely worth doing. And there's such a big stigma with men bottling things up and not talking because they have to be the manly one and they have to show the brave face all the time. But I think it's more men than women that kill themselves, so I think they're the ones that they need to talk about it more. I didn't ever think I'd have to go through something like this, especially I was 16 when it happened, and I didn't ever think I'd ever lose my dad or have to carry his coffin or anything like that. That would never cross my mind. Suicide, it doesn't, the one thing that goes through my head is it doesn't stop the pain, it moves it to the people around you.
I think there's been a mentality for generations with men's mental health that men have to bottle it up and hide it away, and that's come down from generation to generation. And for too many men, far too many men, the only option they can come to is to end it all, which is heartbreaking. And we're trying to break that cycle, really, I think, in this generation, break down that stigma and say, do you know what, it's okay to feel sad, it's okay to cry, it's okay to talk about your feelings with other men, and to not ignore each other when those deep thoughts come, but actually be together.
Over the last 3 years, we're really pleased with the work we've done, but also how we've been able to change our services and adapt them for people to access them better. So a lot of the co-production work we've been doing on the co-design for the next 3 years is really important to us. So whether we've been doing that in an office setting, so we've had meetings here and involved our coaches, our volunteers, participants, and often we can do this on the pitch as well to make it a bit more interactive. So we've kicked a football around and made sure that we're getting the views across. So we don't just collect feedback at the end of the 12 weeks. We actually involve them while they're there in the service to make sure everyone's voice is getting heard. With the Best of Living sessions that we created, that was off the back of listening to people and what they needed from the service. So we put together with people around what would be practical support for people to receive, especially when on a football pitch, around the cost of living. What advice is helpful? What things would they need? What's the practical things they need? And that's worked really well. With the women's services, we really had to change and adapt how we delivered the programme. It works differently for men and women, so we sought the expertise of people, but also asked women from our communities around what would be ideal for them and what should the sessions look like for them. So for example, with the men's sessions, we get people talking at the very start, but then with the women's, we tend to get them running around at the start and then focusing on the session after they've had a bit of a run around to get them into the space. So little changes like that have really come off the back of what people have said to us from our community. And it's been really successful, and it's already adapted the way we kind of do things now, but really will shape the way we're going to design future work.
The main part of our continuation plans for the next 3 to 5 years is to look at 3 different elements of how Head in the Game can evolve. Firstly is women's sessions, so we successfully trialled 2 lots of women's sessions so far this year. We want to be able to help Sunday League football teams to see whether we can put some of the Head in the Game ethos into teams that are already formed. And lastly is a multi-sport model to ensure those who might not like or want to play football can still access our services through different sports. So the reason why the continuation plan is so important is that we want to reach as many people as possible. So although we've been really pleased with the progress we've made in the first 3 years, there is so much more work to do.
Years ago, I didn't believe in mental health until I had an illness of my own. Then to see that and then learn about the mental health is massive for me. It truly is massive. It makes my hair on the back of my neck stand up. I'm doing it now, it's standing up. Sorry, I'm gonna.
It's the idea, I think, of it is captured so many imaginations that it can only get bigger and bigger and help more and more people.
It's like someone just holding your hand, taking you to one step, and then they take you to the next step. And before you know it, you're at a step and you're thinking, I can do this.
I think it works so well because it's so needed.
Being involved with this was about making people stronger, being better versions of themselves.
And what that creates is a really powerful dynamic. It's trust, it's sport, but most importantly, it is a place where you can open up and be frank about how you really feel.
Projects like Head in the Game, they're going to be instrumental in ensuring that stigma is broken down and that men know that they can talk and that there is a better way out.
As you can see, Head in the Game is literally saving lives. So let's all be part of the solution to eradicate suicide from our society. Thank you.